Okay, let's unpack this. If you've ever had that feeling where your entire life, I mean everything, your identity, what you believe, even your emotional balance was just under this massive, chaotic renovation, then you know exactly what we're talking about today. It can be messy, beautiful, painful, and also incredibly enlightening all at once.
Right.
And people call it a spiritual awakening or ascension. And the symptoms are, well, they're not subtle.
And that's really our mission for this deep dive. You've sent us sources that detail this really intense, often overwhelming experience. And we need to cut through some of the metaphorical language.
Right. Translate it.
Exactly. We're going to translate concepts like vibrational shift and higher self into concrete psychological and even neurobiological processes. We want to give some clarity on why you might be feeling this potent mix of, intense disconnection, emotional chaos, and then sudden hyperintuitive awareness.
Okay, so let's start at the very core. The fundamental level of what's actually being transformed here, because this isn't just like typical personal growth, is it?
No, absolutely not. We are looking at a profound identity change, or an identity transition. Spiritually, the central paradox, and it's a difficult one, is that the old self literally has to dissolve before the new path can emerge.
So you're not just letting go of a few bad habits.
No, not at all. You're psychologically grieving the person you thought you were. That old egoic structure you depended on for everything.
That explains why there's such a deep sadness to it. It really does feel like mourning at death.
Yeah.
Because in a way, a version of you is dying.
It is.
But how do you tell the difference between this necessary spiritual shedding and, say, just regular pathological depression or grief?
That's a great question. I think the key distinction is in the direction of the process. So pathological sadness often leads to stagnation. You get stuck in these self-referential loops, right? Spiritual grief, on the other hand, even though it's incredibly painful, is expansive. It comes with that weird, persistent feeling that knowing that something better is waiting on the other side. It forces you to move, even if that movement feels chaotic at first.
And this is where the brain stuff comes in, the neurological update you mentioned, which really helps make sense of the chaos. So instead of feeling like your brain is broken, you should think of it as like a supercomputer getting a necessary system overhaul.
That analogy is perfect. It sets the stage for the science beautifully. This upgrade involves a major, let's call it a reset of dominance between core brain networks. Specifically, we're talking about the default mode network, the DMN, and the salience network. DMN is, it's the brain's internal compass. It's heavily involved in self-referential thought, rumination. It's basically maintaining that old, entrenched identity.
So when the DMN starts to lose its dominance, it means we're spending less time trapped in those loops of me, less time defining ourselves by old stories or future worries.
Precisely. And for the new integrated self, what some call the higher self, to become the new operating system, the brain has to literally make space. This requires what neuroscientists call synaptic pruning.
Greening, like in a garden.
Kind of, yeah. You are literally deleting old maladaptive applications. These are old thought circuits, conditioned responses, limiting beliefs, all stored in your neural pathways.
You're clearing the junk from the hard drive.
And that clearance allows for synaptogenesis, the formation of new, more resilient and effective circuits. The outcome of a successful reset is this huge cognitive shift. Decision-making becomes less of a struggle, creative problem-solving just flows more naturally.
And you get better emotional regulation.
You do, because you're no longer running on those old fear-based scripts.
Okay, now let's tackle this concept of raising your vibration. It's a term that gets thrown around a lot. And frankly, it can get dismissed because of all the quantum mysticism that sometimes surrounds it. But it sounds like it actually correlates to real physiological shifts.
It absolutely does. When the sources talk about an acceleration of energy, of frequency, the functional correlate is moving away from physiological stress states. Things like chronic stress, anxiety, depression, they are associated with low-frequency states.
Low frequency.
Yeah, often cited as being below 62 hertz, where the body is just struggling to maintain balance.
And the goal is to move toward those higher frequencies then?
Yes, exactly. Elevated frequency states, usually above 70 hertz. And these higher states, they correlate to measurable biomarkers of health and resilience. Things like greater heart rate variability or sustained periods of gamma brainwave activity.
Which is associated with what?
High-level cognitive function and compassion, so that emotional feeling of raising your vibration is a literal, measurable move toward nervous system regulation, toward true homeostasis.
That really anchors the whole experience in reality. Okay, so if we rewind to the very beginning of this journey, It often starts pretty subtly, doesn't it?
Mm.
That sense that the world just feels too narrow, or this vague but persistent feeling of knowing that you don't know something that you really need to know.
That's the periphery effect. You're standing just outside the full picture, and you can sense this massive puzzle waiting to be solved, and your conditioned reality just suddenly seems so inadequate. That's the soul signaling that the ego's current structure just isn't big enough for your expansion.
And that leads to this intense yearning for deeper meaning. The realization that you've just been a hamster on a wheel, going through the motions but feeling totally unfulfilled.
That yearning is crucial. It's the sign that you're actively looking beyond the false narrative you were taught to believe. You know, the conditioning from society or family about what success or happiness is supposed to look like. That yearning is your first step toward true personal sovereignty.
And as this spark starts to grow, your whole perception changes. Your intuition, that inner voice, it becomes drastically clear, more precise.
And this isn't just a minor improvement. You suddenly find you can see through others' deceit or manipulation more easily. It's like a veil has been lifted. You're no longer just passively accepting what's on the surface.
You see the motivations underneath.
You see the motivations, not just the words. Exactly.
Another thing the sources mention, which I find fascinating, is this sudden intense curiosity about a bizarre and seemingly disconnected collection of interests. You know, one day it's ancient history, the next it's quantum physics, then it's some esoteric healing modality.
And those interests are anything but disconnected. They're what I'd call intelligent and interconnected cosmic breadcrumbs. Your subconscious is actively gathering all the pieces it needs for your new integrated identity.
So that sudden obsession with astrophysics might actually connect to something else.
It might be directly linked to a healing modality you need to understand cellular energy, for example. It's all connected.
Wow. Okay, so alongside this heightened perception, you might also feel really spacey or detached from your physical surroundings. Why does that happen?
That detachment is a necessary part of breaking free from the old identity. The external world, which was defined by your old ego, it starts to lose its grip on you. You are literally mentally floating between two worlds, the old reality and the one that's emerging. And that creates that feeling of spaciness or being a bit out of body.
Okay, let's move into the emotional territory, because this is where a lot of people hit a wall. The big breakdown. Intense emotional symptoms like deep anxiety, chronic fear, sudden panic attacks. These are extremely common.
They are. And we kind of already established the root cause, that you're being reborn into a whole new paradigm, and that process is violent to the ego. The old identity, which relied on control and familiarity, is collapsing.
Right.
And that level of systemic shock, it manifests as intense, pervasive anxiety. It's the fear of the unknown, but it's amplified because you don't even know who you are without that old self.
And as all this energy speeds up, a lot of people report a profound, immediate need for solitude. They just need quiet, they need distance, time away from all the noise. Why is that stillness so non-negotiable?
The quiet time is the integration phase. Think of it like a necessary rest for the system after that neurological update we talked about. Without deep integration on a cellular and subconscious level, the changes just can't stick.
So the silence is actually productive.
Incredibly productive. It allows the higher self to send signals more clearly without being polluted by the mind's constant chatter. If you keep the noise level high, the system just tries to revert to the old, familiar programming out of fear.
And this naturally leads to big shifts in relationships. You find yourself needing to distance yourself from people, or even release relationships that no longer serve you. And that can be brutally painful, even when you know it's the right thing to do.
It is painful, but it reflects a change in what we could call vibrational compatibility. If you're now operating at, say, 70 hertz, and a longstanding friendship only functions at 60 hertz, the interaction itself becomes draining, abrasive even.
The distance isn't a punishment then.
No, it's self-preservation. It's moving you away from those shallow connections toward ones that resonate with your emerging truth.
And the ultimate goal of all this emotional turbulence, it isn't to become emotionless, right? It's to reach emotional equilibrium.
Exactly. The goal is inner peace. And what that really means is moving from emotional reacting, that automatic conditioned response, to thoughtful responding to life's challenges. It's the difference between getting pulled into the drama and being able to observe it and then choose your contribution.
Okay, finally, let's talk about the physical side of ascension. Because a lot of people experience these really baffling physical symptoms that doctors just can't explain.
Extreme pervasive fatigue is probably the most common one. It can feel like this deep lethargy that then unexpectedly just turns into bliss and spaciousness later in the day.
Why did that happen?
Well, the sources suggest it's because the body is going through this massive energetic realignment and detoxification. It takes huge amounts of biological resources to handle that kind of system upgrade.
And what about the aches and pains, the muscle aches, joint stiffness? Sometimes really specific pains in the neck or shoulders or jaw.
Those blockages often represent old, repressed emotions that your system is finally pushing out. For instance, jaw pain can be linked to unexpressed communication or suppressed anger. The body is literally shedding old energy, and that process can feel like a deep tissue trauma.
Digestive issues are a big one too. Suddenly craving really specific clean foods or feeling nausea when you eat things you used to love.
Your sensitivity is just through the roof. Your body starts rejecting what no longer aligns with your vibration. You might find that highly processed or fried foods, which are energetically dense and low vibrational, instantly cause you discomfort, whereas before you didn't even notice.
Okay, so given all this intensity, the neural reset, the emotional upheaval, the physical detox, what are the most effective psychological and somatic tools we can use to actually manage this process?
Well, the first step is just relentless self-awareness. To manage feelings, you have to recognize them first. Don't just say, I'm anxious. Break it down. Use a tool like an emotion diary to log the specifics. Is it doubt, worry, frustration? Is it fear of failure? Once you address the basic components, the big complex anxiety often just dissipates.
And we have to talk about the ego, because a lot of spiritual communities talk about killing the ego. But the sources suggest a much healthier integration.
Precisely. The ego is a vital tool. It's a good servant, but a poor master. The healthy goal is integration, where the ego serves the higher self by, managing the day-to-day logistics without running the whole show.
You need the ego to book a flight.
Right. You just don't need it telling you who you are.
And for those moments when you're completely overwhelmed, when that 62 hertz anxiety state just has you in its grip, we need immediate physical tools to bring the body back online.
Absolutely. This is where we rely on quick physiological resets, like the DBT TTP skills. T stands for temperature change. If you're having a panic attack, just using an ice pack or splashing cold water on your face immediately shocks your nervous system out of that fight or flight cycle.
It's an instant reset.
It's an instant reset. It consciously lowers your stress frequency and creates immediate space for self-regulation. Even a simple, conscious, deep breathing exercise, inhaling positive light, exhaling negative energy, that is a powerful, instant vibrational adjustment.
And we have to end this section with a really serious warning about something called spiritual bypassing, using all these concepts to just avoid pain.
Yes, this is a defense mechanism, and it stalls the entire process. If you insist on good vibes only, or you say you create your reality as a way to justify ignoring difficult emotions like grief or anger or fear, you are bypassing the integration process.
You have to feel it to heal it.
You have to allow yourself to feel and process that shadow material. The absolute reality of your consciousness doesn't negate the need to confront relative suffering here on Earth.
So we've established that this spiritual awakening is a process of deep neural reorganization. It's an energetic acceleration. It's really a massive self-integration project that brings your mind, your emotions, and your body into alignment with your deepest truth. It's about moving from a life of limitation to one of, spontaneous opportunity.
The ultimate goal is self-coherence. When you can align your inner child, your egoic self, and your animal self with the guidance of your higher self, the whole system just works together in harmony. You transition from a life dominated by thought and conditioned reaction to one that is inspirational, intuitive, and natural.
And that leads to our final provocative thought for you to carry forward. If you're experiencing these intense symptoms of integration, what is one commitment you can make this week to give yourself the stillness and space required to allow this new resilient version of yourself to fully install?
The wisdom of the higher self is waiting for your attention in the quiet.